Go to the showdown 36. Adelaide Oval, so much build-up, so much money spent on this facility. And, well, Adelaideans have always loved their football and they've dreamt about having the AFL at Adelaide Oval. Well, they'll have it there every week of the footy season from now on. Yeah, it was an absolute spectacle yesterday. The weather was perfect, the ground was packed. Over 50,000 people headed along to the game, and it was really the power that jumped out of the blocks. Here we see Robbie Gray, one of the first goals. Port jumped out, as I said, and kicked 5-1 in the first quarter. And by quarter time, they're already out to a 28-point lead. Adelaide rallied. They come at them late in the first quarter, and then also throughout the second quarter. But whenever they did, they turned the ball over. And we see here Ollie Wines, one of the young stars, making the most of one of those opportunities. So they were disappointing in their attack, Adelaide. But then when they did get it, they were also disappointing in the way that they would turn the ball over. Sloan was one of the shining lights. Brodie Smith also for Adelaide was probably their best player on the day. As I said, they sort of started to plug their way back into the game, but it was all Port. They're just absolutely one of the fittest young teams in the competition. Matty White comes on here as the sub, kicked 2 goals and was great, but every time they were challenged, the young Port team, they just had the answers and they went again. And the 3 things that I learned from the game was that the Port are one of the fittest teams in the competition. Darren Burgess is doing a fantastic job with their young guys. Challenged this week, challenged last week against Carlton, and they've just got the power to push on. You shut down Dangerfield, you shut down the Crows. It was one of his quieter games. He's probably one of their only real game winners who can burst a game open, and he was quiet. The third thing, the coach's box makes Kenny cranky. He had a little bit of an explosion, which was quite funny. Sean Hart's here. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Kenny. Shawnee, leave me alone, mate. Up by 20 points at that time.
Up by 20 points. He said after the game that he's really good for him because he does get a little bit fiery, but you can see the pressures in the box. And Kenny,
can you get reported from smacking out an assistant coach in the box?
Be great viewing, wouldn't it?
Oh, and Wingard, you see him yesterday?
Incredible. He kicked the 4 goals?
Yeah, 4 goals.
So if you're playing Port Adelaide next week, who do you tag?
Well, this is the benefit they have. Usually you talk of teams like Hawthorn, they've a number of guys you can tag. They go to Boak. Well, then Wingard jumps up. You got Pollock jumps up. Hartlett, who was fantastic, bobs up. So 4 goals. There's a lot of questions on him, Wingard, before he was drafted. No one really wanted to go with him, but he's becoming a champion of the competition.
Best and fairest All-Australian last year at 20. Phenomenal stuff. And Hartlett's another that's had huge injuries, Jacko, and he's seemingly on top of his body.
Yeah, it's good to see him back out there and playing strong. He was the showdown medalist, I think. Yeah, he won the first one in the stadium.
Yeah, 29 disposals, 12 contested. Just one of these number of players now that they've got going through. They're all sort of mid-20s, and they've got some good years ahead of them, these guys.
Jared Pollock's had injuries, ankle and groin, played 16 games with the Lions. He was really good, Jacko, yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like he settled in well after coming down from Brisbane. But as you said, well, she's just another good addition, just strengthen what they already have.
Well, it shows the benefits of, I suppose, young guys coming back to their home state. A young kid from South Australia goes to Brisbane, comes back, leaves all these injury issues behind him, and he was fantastic. He had 20 touches and another shining light in the young Port team.
Remarkable game, really, in that they got off to a fire of the power. The Crows somehow got back in front after trailing by 5 or 6 goals, and then got beaten by 53. And post-match, Sando, well, Coach Sanderson was pretty disappointed with the fair few of the Crows.
When you hit the front in the game and then lose by 55, we've got to ask ourselves some serious questions. But today, in the end, I think we just had too many passengers. We had too many guys didn't contribute. So what's that? 7 or 8 players I thought could probably walk out of the change rooms today with their chin up. The rest have probably got to have a good hard look about how they played today.
He's always pretty measured, Sando Rui, but next week they'll have to bounce.
And who do they play next week?
It's a good question.
Whoever it is, they have to bounce. They have to bounce. Whoever it is, it's...
You guys keep talking. We'll have a look at Eddie Betts' highlights, because he was amazing. New club, new numbers, same size shorts. But next week, the Adelaide Crows... Roll Eddie Betts' highlights, please.
Yeah, well, Eddie was fantastic. He up forward, kicked 4 goals, and he was probably one of the only shining lights. He's been great, even in the pre-season.
Sydney at Adelaide Oval.
And so we've got another big game on at Adelaide Oval. But he was fantastic. J-Pod, the other one, he's been a bit quieter in his transition over to Adelaide.
Well, you talk about the forward structure for the Crows. They are really missing their 3 frontline key forwards. Tex Walker, we know, is going to come back. He might take a bit of time off for Rico. Jenkins wasn't playing, and Tom Lynch, who provides that link between the midfield and the forward line. So they are missing a few players in their defence.
Sydney next week at Adelaide Oval. one can go 0-3, one can have their first win.
Yeah, you wouldn't have picked that before the season. We knew Adelaide had a tough start.
Yep.
The showdown can go either way.
And the Cats
Geelong
first.
down at the Cattery. Big week. Yeah, you don't want to go 0-3 when you've got final 8 aspirations.
Right.